Hello everyone, we're doing some more fake wire tonight. I just want to add a bit more planting. I realise I've still got an awful lot to go, but before I can put that in, I just need to put these top bits of framework on. Now I could have used wire and it would have taken a hell of a long time, seeing as most of it's kind of hidden. I'm just going to cheat a little and use a pencil just to, like I said, to mark on this kind of trellis grid. After this, I just want to put a little bit of ground cover right at the foot of the wall before maybe looking at the climbing plants. Since the last time I was on, I have airbrushed all the gravel, so we've got a nicer shade. There we go, that'll do for that bit. So I want to put some ground planting just under here, and then I'll start to add some creeping plants. I just want to put a little bit of grid work over here as well, because we've got a tiny bit of climbing plants going on here too. It's not as easy to put behind the gate. Excuse the arm. Right, just a little bit of trellis in there. So now, like I say, I want to put a little bit of ground cover. I say ground cover, it's kind of like low growing plants. We're going to go all the way around the base there. So for that, I'm just going to use some ground up foam to represent foliage. But first of all, I need some glue, and my glue's all sealed up. There we go. So I just need to put some PVA down. This is some cheap wood glue. I want to make sure there's a liberal covering. It goes all the way up to the edge of the wall. In fact, it does continue onwards, but we'll just do a small portion at first. I want to put a little bit in there too. And like I say, for this bit, I'm just going to use some ground up foam. And this is literally just some furniture foam that I've put into a coffee grinder and ground into very small pieces, and then coloured with some acrylic paint. Although you can do it the other way around, you can colour it first and then and then grind it if you so wish. The order, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to intersperse that with some different foam for a different colour variation. I'll just fling that in there to make sure it gets to the edges. It's just a quick and effective way of getting some foliage in there. I want some bulky foliage in this area here, so I'll just make sure it piles up quite high. Excuse the arm again, just want to make sure I get some around that, more around that corner there. Do want to add a little bit of colour in there in a minute, but I'll just continue putting some scenic planting around here. It's a lot of fun doing this. It's a very quick way of making it look more colourful. Right, that's that quickly done. I want to do a little bit more highlight now, if I can find my little tub of glue, smaller glue. It's funny, I've been moving it around all day today, out of my way. I've eventually moved it completely out of the way to the point where I can't find it now. I think I found it. No, there's none left. I must have used it all up yesterday. Never mind. Hello, Halo. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I guess I'll just sprinkle on some foliage for the time being, and then when I find my glue, I can sprinkle it over the top to seal it in place. Right, I want to add a little bit of plant work in the corner. Just bear with me a second, I'm trying to find the correct tool. Right, I'm just going to use some of these little fibres here. They kind of, I don't know what they are exactly. I got them from one of those drop ship places. Thank you, Moray. Thank you very much. It's been a heck of a journey so far. Right, so I just want to grab those fibres and snip them off. Now this bit's going to require another hand. I'm sorry, I was just opening the tub. So I need a little bit of colour, and I also need some super glue. What, of course, have I done with the super glue? Behind me, don't worry, it's behind me. Right, I'm going to try and do this sort of quickly, which is why I'm wanting to use the super glue. So I want to use these bits of nylon fibres, and now I could do with something to dip super glue into. So with lack of anything else available, I'm just going to squeeze some onto this scrap here. And what I want to do is swipe those tips of those fibres through the super glue, like so. Now that isn't exactly what I wanted to do, is it? Because it's clumped. I think perhaps white glue would be the better idea, but what I'm going to do is use that as a... No, I'm not going to use it at all. I'm talking rubbish. Let's try again. I think white glue is going to be the better solution because it won't clump as much. I also feel that these fibres are perhaps a bit too thin. But with lack of anything else, we're just going to have to go with it. I'll just get another clump of them. I want them to be a bit more spread out, you see, because putting the super glue on immediately causes them to clump, and I don't want to clump them. We're a clump-free zone. Okay, so what I'm going to do now instead is I'm just going to paint the ends of those fibres with the glue. It's not an easy one to do on camera. I do know what I'm doing, honest. Alright, it should be glued now. I'm just going to give it a brush with this brush to try and separate it out a bit. It's not working brilliantly. The idea is that I'm going to create some flower stalks. Maybe it's a touch big, but I think that's okay. I might need to just do several of them to get the effect I want. paint a bit of super glue in there, and I'm going to have to come back and get my tweezers and my scissors. No idea what just fell on the floor then. In fact, I think a spot of super glue might be more in order there. Certainly make it stand up a bit better. And just try doing that again. Create a few more. I just have to paint some more glue onto that. It might have been an idea to trim them down first, just separate it out a bit. Oops, I keep falling off my chair. Let's just get that back out of the way. Use a little bit of artistic license and put some colour into that grass plants area, just purely because I think it's going to look better. Is that super glue I've just painted onto my brush? Probably. I think I just accidentally ruined my brush by painting. Yep, I just ruined my brush by dipping it into super glue instead. That's one dead brush. Can probably revive it with a bit of solvent maybe. Just add a little bit of colour in there. Right, I'm just going to switch photographs that I was referring to. Just want to put a little bit of plant up the side of the wall now, following those climbing plants wires. So for that I'm going to use some sea foam. Now the other day I painted the stalks grey, so I'm going to have to get my grey paint out. Still kind of a little bit annoyed that I've just ruined a perfectly good brush with some super glue, but those things happen. So it can always come in useful as a scrap brush now for the purposes of spreading glue on, I suppose. Like I did the other night, I'm just going to paint some of these stalks green. No, it's not green, is it? It's grey. Good evening, Georgia. How's Georgia? Not too bad at all, thank you very much. Not too bad at all. I think one more week and we'll be done with this. I've seen the new Despicable Me, and no, I haven't. Have you been to see it? I'm just painting the bottoms of those stalks, and now I've realised I've left my water. Did you enjoy them? I take it you must have one of you going again. Right, sorry, I just need the hairdryer out. I've got the cable wrapped round. I've seen the others though. I do like Despicable Me. Just a bit of hair drying. I always get the button wrong. Okay, so whoops, just to hit the laptop with the hairdryer. So all I'm doing here is just giving it a quick blast with the hairdryer, because it just speeds up the process a little. Yeah, that's right, there is a little bit of colour in there. There's some lilacs as well, so maybe I'll add those afterwards. Hello, Sarah. How's Sarah? Right, what I'm going to do is the same as I've done previously. I'm going to add some foliage to these stalks by way of hairspray and scenic foam. Sorry, words are failing me tonight. I'm struggling for words. So again, I'm just going to use some hairspray. I'll have to do it off camera because I don't want it spraying on the model. It's basically a substitute for a scenic glue. So I sprinkle lots of foam onto it, give it another blast with some hairspray to seal it in, and this is where I realise that I've not got an awful lot left. So this might be short-lived. I must end up squashing some of that, but basically if I just sprinkle some of that foliage onto those glued stalks, and they just cling, the bits of foam just cling to those bits of stalk, and if I want to build it up I just keep layering it with more glue, and it can just slowly build up like so. Now I've just seen that a couple of these have flowers on because they're like the other ones, they're climbing roses. So what I'm going to do is cause havoc by opening doors. I'm going to add a little bit of colour as well. I'll do that after I've finished all the stalks first. Good evening, Dave. Good evening. How are we all doing? I was really flagging earlier. I did a fair bit of work earlier off camera. Well, in fact, I did some on camera before I came on. Sorry, earlier this evening, but then I had to come off for a while. And I'd been doing a bit of work off camera. And then I kind of thought, I'm too tired now. But then I had another thought. I must continue. I must carry on. So here we are. Right. I want to add a few more. Sorry, I want to add a few flower petals before sticking it in place. I've got some ground sawdust here. Very finely ground sawdust with that's been coloured with red. I'm just going to give it a blast with hairspray. It really needs sieving out again, this, because it's quite fine. Can you see the colour? Quick blast with the hairspray to hold it in place. So obviously these are representing petals, so I don't want to completely cover them. I just want to sprinkle enough on that just gives a suggestion of rose petals rather than, leaves. So it's actually easier to put on before I stick them to the wall. It's very fun and very quick making plants like this. It's one of my favourite parts to do. I almost forgot myself then and started putting way too much on. Thanks, Dave. Like I said, very nearly didn't. I was starting to feel really tired, but I thought I haven't done a Friday night for a while. Oh, I haven't done a later Friday night for a while, so let's go see how we get on. The thing is about having the photographic reference to go off for this this model. I've had photographs supplied at various points. I've got photographs from sort of like 8 years ago, and I've got photographs from a couple of months ago. But so some of the planting has changed dramatically. I'm sorry, Dave, what have I just missed? Oh, past parrot, I'm sorry to hear that. Funerals are never great either. Don't mean to sound kind of so flippant, I'm just busy. Mustn't have been a great day yesterday. Right, I need a cocktail stick and some glue, so I'm going to put some glue. I'm going to put some glue on the back of this. Now, the other day, I figured a better glue is PVA because it doesn't go everywhere, but it doesn't stick very quickly. So I'm going to go with the old super glue and just hope for the best. I want it to stick instantly, you see, and this is my best bet. Okay, we're going to start growing up there. Good evening, Ray. Nice to see you. Happy Friday indeed. Sorry, just a bit off camera. What I'm doing is spreading some super glue onto the back of these rose stalks with a cocktail stick or a toothpick, depending on how you're going to call it. And that's going to help me stick them to the wall. Using a tiny bit of artistic license here. In the terms of, I'm just using what I've got and forming it around the wall there. But I can go off the excuse that it's forever changing with being pruned and what have you, and the changing parts of the seasons. Now I was a little bit more haphazard with the glue there, but that's worked quite well in terms of growing, sticking. Sorry. Now perhaps that one's a little bit too tall, so I'm just going to snip that one off. What I need to do, which I can't do right now, is just I need to build that layer of foam up. But I need to find some. I need to mix some. I need to mix some more glue. Water some down. Sorry, I just need to try and find some photographs. Where are we? Right, I need to put a little bush in here, I think. So I need to find a suitable bit of sea foam for that purpose. Now there's a fantastic climbing plant that I need to put in against that wall. Hello Rachel, how are you doing? Hopefully it's going to go into a case. We have discussed it, but I haven't sorted anything yet. I need to get one priced up, but I've only just sort of finalised the final size with having put it on a base. I'm running out. I'm just trying to super glue a couple of pieces of It's gone. No more left. Super gluing a couple of pieces of sea foam to make a bigger piece here. This is because I want to create a shrubbery, a bush. Sounds really good, that. I mean, I don't know if they can get a case. Well, they can probably get a case from France. I have a local supplier, but you can get them online. It's just you're a little bit beholden to the shipping company. They're extremely delicate. Obviously, they have always. Whenever I've ordered them online, they've come extremely well wrapped. But you're always running that little risk. Do you know what? The other night, I accidentally activator sprayed my fingers, and boy, does that stuff hurt when you get it in your skin. Right, I'm going to give that a liberal coating of stuff. Oh, it's annoying when you can't speak, isn't it? Right, I'm going to bulk this up with some thick foam to start off with, because I want to create a largish bush. But the eventual finish is a lot lighter than this, but this foam will give me a good sort of substructure. It does give a nice, quick representation of shrubbery. Right, I just want to finish with a final highlight of a finer powder. Like so. Am I in focus? Not really. And then I need to sort of wedge that in there. Sorry, I need to put snooker commentators. I know what you mean. I think somebody's said that before. That I could commentate. I think I'd bore myself stupid watching and talking about snooker, but thank you very much. I understand what you're saying. Right, this climbing bush is going to be very tricky to do, so I'm going to leave it. No, I'm not going to leave it. I'm going to wait until kind of last minute. Oh, I wish I could find the photograph angle I want. Okay, so it's really quite interesting. It's growing from this corner, but I need to put a couple of little sort of shrubs in first. I hope you don't mind, Ray, but I'm using quite a bit of a little bit of artistic license in this place, because it's not 100% accurate. I think I've also got the position of those trees slightly wrong. Oh, that could be foreshortening. Yeah, For those watching in black and white, the pink is behind the brown. So yeah, like what I was saying is I'm using a little bit of artistic license in some places for the shrubs because well, they're extremely difficult to match at scale. Although you can have a lot of fun with creating representative plants. So I'm just going to make sure that this whole area is kind of really nicely planted with some rough indications of bushes and shrubs. It's something you can have an awful lot of fun with, especially if you've got access to some sea foam like I have. I think I'm running out. It's rattling behind in the background. I've still got to try and figure out how I'm going to make that climbing plant. I don't know if you've got a photograph of it, Ray, but if the plant that I'm talking about is the one that comes over the top here. The photograph that I'm looking at the moment doesn't have any flowers, but I do know that it flowers. Because I'm sure I've seen one. I just don't have a very good picture of it right now. What I'm going to look at doing is just going to put a shrub by this door here before the hanging plant which comes up here. So I'm going to put another shrub in here and build up some bigger foliage in this area. And I do believe there's a taller bush in that corner there. The photograph that I've got is just off. Just doesn't show it. So it'll be a little bit of guesswork. The wisteria, that's the one. Yes, I don't think when your friend sent me the picture, I don't think it's flowered just yet, but I would like to add the flowers because I think that'd be a nice bit of colour to add. I'm trying to work out now a way that I'm better off, or I can use, should I say, sea foam to create this bit of shrub, or whether I can use a bit of foam. I'm going to go with sea foam because it's quite clumpy already. Give it a real good coat of stuff, and now I'm going to actually use a different type of leaf cover. I'm sure I've seen the photograph, but it just might not be a recent one. Just want to see what let's come back up here. So I'm going to use these clumpy leaves. They're quite effective. Oh, you don't want to see my desk here now. It's covered in boxes. All the hissing is me just yeah, it's me just spraying in case you hadn't realised. I'm going to cut that stalk off because it's quite delicate. Put a big lump of super glue in there. It shouldn't sit for a while. And then I can put this bush in fact, I've just gone and stuck it in the wrong place. That's why it doesn't make sense. It's on the other side of the window because the wisteria grows from that point. Let's try again because there's no glue where I want glue. There we go, that's better. Yeah, I thought that wasn't looking right, and that's the reason why it wasn't looking right, is because it was on the wrong side of the windows, because I'm looking at a different photograph right here. And the piece of seafoam, sorry about my finger suddenly appearing on screen then. I'm just sifting through my stuff. It's not, because the model is so huge now, it's not that easy to get my entire workspace on screen. I'm going to have to make sure my hands are scrubbed tonight, because they're absolutely caked in various glues and foams. Just trying to work out where it's going to go. Thank you very much. I just realised I'm signed into the wrong email account. I'll have to leave it until tomorrow. I'm signed into the wrong email account on my laptop. It's going to be too much faff trying to swap over. I can get to it on my phone, but obviously I'm using my phone to film right now, so I'll have to wait. It would be nice to sort of blast onto it, but not tonight. Right, we're going to make a little sort of almost conifer type plant go in here. And I've just realised there's some grout here that shouldn't be. There we go. Right, so as I was saying, I'm going to use this to create a sort of conifer-like tree. So if you were watching the other night, this is the same foam I used to make a climbing plant, and what I want to do is just shape this so it has the rough shape that I want. It's already nicely coloured with like a dark green, so it'll produce a nice little yes, it is. It's about here. According to the picture that I can see, so it's over here, and then it kind of grows over the top. So I'm just peeling apart the layers. Give a thicker shape. Now spray foam is going to, not spray foam, that's the wrong word. the use of some foam on top of it will bulk it up nicely. So that's going to be the shape that I want, which will go in about here. I think it's outside the wall as opposed to inside. Again, not something I can easily see, but I think it doesn't really matter if it's in or out. It'll work if it's just about there. So what I'm going to do is give that a good coating of hairspray. I'll start adding some scenic foam to it. Like I said, the undercoat is already a nice deep green, so it works really well. I'm going to take the decision that this is actually going to be on the inside of that wall, because it doesn't actually make sense being outside it. Paint this green, I think. It needs to have an undercoating of green. As you can tell, I'm pretty much running out of that colour. Thank you, G. Move on to there. I'm just using anything I can find when it comes to palettes, because I don't often have my palettes handy. So any old little tub or end of something I can use as a painting device. I wish I hadn't left that water jug in the other room. I just want to be quite frugal with the Okay, thanks Ray. Oops, holding it up in the wrong place. This one has a couple of white flowers. I don't actually have any white sawdust. So what I'll have to do is wait until it properly dries and then just dab a couple of little bits of colour in place. These are all extremely fragile. There's the plant I've just put in there. Now this one really I should have painted beforehand because it's looking falsely brown. Sometimes it works as a... It's looking falsely brown. Sometimes it works as a substructure straight off the bat, and other times it just looks false. That's why for some of them I painted the stalks grey. But this one I think it's just showing up a bit too much, so what I'm going to do is try and paint it whilst it's stuck down, but it's not stuck down very firmly, so it may not work. Ideally, it wants airbrushing. We've got a nice bit of removal there anyway. I want to add a little bit of colour in here because there are some flowers as well. That's better. Hello Nancy, how's Nancy? Have you got a water pot? Because I forgot to bring mine in tonight. Right, just going to use a little bit of static grass to represent sort of longer stalks. Like that. Now really, because I'm using foam, you want some foam safe super glue. That's the kind that doesn't react with foam, because you can run the risk of it smoking. But I've actually used this kind of super glue without any real problems before. Sometimes it smokes, sometimes it doesn't, so I kind of get away with it to an extent. It's fine. But like I say, use it at your own risk. You can buy, like I say, you can buy special foam safe super glues which don't react to foam. It's nice adding a bit of colour. Again, a little bit of artistic license in there, but it just lifts it up a bit. I'm just going to go see if I can sign into my LNR Models email account. I have two email accounts, one for my graphics jobs and one for model making, but I'm usually signed in. I'm usually signed in with my struggling to speak. I'm usually signed in with my graphics account most of the time. Looks like I'm going to have to get myself some more foam mix because I don't have the right colour. Not foam. What's the word I'm looking for? Sawdust. That's the one. I think this colour's closer. Gene Stealer Purple. This colour's closer for the wisteria flowers than the pinks that I've got. So what I could do with doing is getting some plain sawdust if I can find any. Mixing a batch up. The closest I've got actually is some yellow. I know it sounds like I'm talking to myself a lot. Right, I've got some yellow, so if I mix that with purple, then it might give me a decent colour. So I've got that yellow there. I'll try it with purple and see how we go. I don't want to mix all of it because I do need some yellow later. Zoom back out again. So I think I might have put the tree in the wrong place. It's easily sorted, but I think I've got the tree a bit too far back. Yeah, there's lots more lovely red petals on that bit. That's okay for now though. What I could do with doing is adding a bit more foliage down that side there. There's some lovely, looks like iris plants, something similar anyway. But I need to mix up some purple to get that bit. Right, so I don't think I can do the wisteria right at the very moment. Right, so I don't think I can do the wisteria right at the very moment. I could start planning on how to build it, but I'm just going to leave it off for a minute. Whilst I think I'm going to come down. I'm going to come down this bit, add some foliage in there. Of course, I need to find some relevant pictures. Sorry guys, just bear with me a minute. What time are we on? Oh, it's nearly midnight. What time are we on? Oh, it's nearly midnight. Okay, so we just got some more shrubs, I think, to put in there. I must remember to mix some of that purple up. I'm not going to do it right now, but if I do some before I go to bed tonight, then we'll have something to work with. Quite happy with that little bit of garden that we've created in there tonight. So what I need to do is wait until, well, no I don't. I need to mix some more PVA, watered down PVA to seal everything in, but it's getting there. So all this will have to be vacked up. All the bits that are lurking on the sides, I'll get all that vacked up. I'm just going to make another. I'm just going to make another small shrub to stick in this corner here. These doors here, those are the big gates. I don't think I'd got them installed before. Just trying to persuade that to stand up. Right, I think that's as much as I want to do tonight. Right, I think that's as much as I want to do tonight. Ooh, dinner. Good to see you too, Nancy. Sorry we didn't chat much, but hopefully we'll catch up again. I'll try and get on again tomorrow night at maybe a later hour so we can join. But yeah, for now, I'll have to call it a night, I think, myself. I could carry on because it's Saturday, but yeah, a bit tired. Let me just see if I can I'll spin this round and show you before I go the work that I've done elsewhere. Like I say, it's not that easy to spin to move around on the table now because of the sheer size of it. We'll have a go though. I've got every single scenic tub out right now. So I just move around this way a bit. You see the gateway a bit better. Now, one thing I've done, you've probably noticed, but I've spray painted the courtyard, but I've now added some colour to the driveway. Sorry, not the driveway, the road. Doesn't actually look great in this light, does it? Let me try and change the light temperature. Nah, it's still no good. Whoa, that's awful. Yeah, it's not as light as that in real life, but I've added a little manhole cover in here, and we've got the paving around the side of the house. That's got to be added to yet. If I spin all the way around to the other angle, we'll come to this corner here. I'd completely missed off the fact that there was a little vent in the wall here, so I've made that this evening. I've added a tiny little drain cover in the corner. Let me try and zoom in. There we go. I've added a little rainstorm drain in there. That was a lot of fun to make. I think it just makes all the difference. We're still quite wet on the tarmac area, so it's looking a bit shiny. And I need to tone down the darkness that's run up from the overspray on the tarmac. It's run onto the walls a bit, all the way down. Doesn't look too bad, but I think I just need to blend that in with the wall colour a bit better. So what I'll do is just, I'll probably just airbrush that back in. Although saying that, it's going to be hidden by a lot of greenery growing up. So I've covered the entire base with colour now. So it just needs working up. It's a bit shiny in places. So what I think I'm going to do is use some pigment to start changing the tone of that and make it look a lot more matte. So that's what we've done this evening. Getting there now. There's just the roadway needs a lot more colour adding to it. Some of the chimney pots need embellishing, and it's just basically working our way through the greenery. But garden's coming on really well now, and we're going to end up with some really nice photographic angles, I think. Quite happy with those bits of greenery that we've added to that corner now. I'm just going to see if I can get the camera off. Can I get a nice little